world's richest man may now lose half his wealth. Amazon founder and CEO Jeff Bezos and his wife Mackenzie have decided to part ways. And this might be the world's most expensive divorce, which could shake up the global wealth rankings. Here's how.
25 years ago, an investment banker left his high-profile job to move to Seattle. This man, Jeff Bezos, married his love interest, Mackenzie, and started an online bookstore from the garage of his home. 2.5 decades later, Bezos' professional venture Amazon has eclipsed Microsoft to become the world's most valued listed company. On the personal front, though, all has not been well. The Bezoses have announced their separation. A joint statement released by them on Twitter read, and I quote, "After a long period of loving exploration and trial separation, we have decided to divorce and continue our shared lives as friends." Having met at a job interview in 1992, they shared a common office space. After 3 months of dating, they married in 1993 and relocated to Seattle, where the couple started Amazon. Mackenzie is believed to have played a pivotal role in helping Bezos chart out a plan for the online retail firm. But as the firm grew, Mackenzie took a backseat, limiting her roles to hosting social gatherings, writing books, and taking on philanthropic ventures alongside her husband. The duo fondly flaunted their romance in the statement. They claimed, and I quote, "If we had known we would separate after 25 years, we would do it all again." But not everything is as bright and sunny as this power couple might want to project. Jeff Bezos is reported to have been romantically involved with the former TV personality Lauren Sanchez. A media scoop also claims that Mackenzie is aware of his relationship, and perhaps this could be the reason for their separation. Grapevine aside, there are talks of it being the most expensive split ever. If the couple split their fortune equally, it could make Mackenzie world's richest woman with $69 billion in her kitty. Bezos' fortunes, though, will take a hit, having to part with half of his wealth. Currently number 1 on the rich list with a net worth of around $137 billion, the split could push him to number 2 on the billionaire index. The talks of a bifurcation of wealth is based on Washington law, which claims that all assets acquired during the marriage by either spouse are equally split unless there's a prenuptial agreement stating otherwise. There is also no clarity if the couple have a prenuptial agreement, but many believe that the settlement is going to be anything but ugly. Money can make divorces tricky, but for the ultra-rich it can also make it far less frightening. Perhaps that's why the imminent divorce of the Bezoses sounds more like a transaction than an emotional upheaval. Bureau Report, WION, World is One.
And as the world gets talking about what might be the most expensive split, let's find out who Mackenzie Bezos is. A novelist and a mother of 4, authored The Testing of Luther Albright and Traps. Her father was a financial planner, was raised in San Francisco and attended Princeton to study literature. Lauren Sanchez started out as an entertainment reporter. She married Patrick in 2005 in a ceremony attended by Matt Damon and Jessica Alba. 3 years ago, she became a helicopter pilot and set up a production company as well as an aerial firm. The 49-year-old is twice married and is a mother of 3. And tempers running high in the United Kingdom as well, where Prime Minister Theresa May is facing her biggest test yet. She has 3 days to get an approval from the UK lawmakers for her Brexit deal, but the opposition is already running out of patience. Even before the session started this morning, the Labour Party had trained its guns on her. Labour leader Jeremy Corbyn reiterated his demand for fresh elections if the Theresa May government fails to pass the Brexit deal. He said that a general election would take priority over a second referendum on Brexit. He had made a similar statement in Parliament on Wednesday.
If the government cannot pass its most important legislation, then there must be a general election at the earliest opportunity. A government that cannot get its business through the House of Commons is no government at all. It's lost its mandate, so must go to the country to seek another. And if a general election cannot be secured, and we'll try, then we'll keep all options on the table, including the option of campaigning for a public vote. But an election must be and is the priority. It's not only the most practical option, it's also the most democratic option.
Mr. Speaker.
Also on Wednesday, Theresa May had warned lawmakers that it will either be her deal or no deal at all. But today, the British government has said that it will accept a demand by the Parliament to set out its Plan B if Theresa May's deal is rejected next week.
So the honourable gentleman's other points on will the Prime Minister, will the government accept the Grieve Amendment? Of course the government will do so. The Prime Minister has shown her willingness to always return to this House at the first possible opportunity if there is anything to report in terms of our Brexit deal, and we will continue to do so.
The Parliament witnessed a heated exchange yet again between her and Corbyn. Theresa May's precarious position in a minority government is now out in the open, with 20 lawmakers from her own party voting against the government on an amendment to the finance bill.
In paying tribute to Lord Paddy Ashdown.
Today marks 20 days of the US government shutdown. It is already the longest US government shutdown since 1995, and if it drags on to this weekend, it would be the longest ever in US history. And that seems likely as President Donald Trump has now walked out of talks with opposition lawmakers. The deadlock continues over funding for the border wall with Mexico, a demand that President Trump has been pressing on. In fact, he called the White House meeting to end the 3-week-long government shutdown as a total waste of time. He tweeted, and I'm quoting from that, "Just left a meeting with Chuck and Nancy, a total waste of time. I asked what is going to happen in 30 days if I quickly open things up. Are you going to approve border security, which includes a wall or a steel barrier? Nancy said no. I said bye-bye. Nothing else works," unquote. America is now heading to the 20th day of the government shutdown. This has been caused by disagreement over the wall, with the meeting between Trump, Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer, and House of Representatives Speaker Nancy Pelosi and other leaders ending in acrimony. It now seems that an early resolution is not in sight. Exasperated Democrats called Trump's behavior a temper tantrum and said that the meeting broke down when they refused to commit to funding his proposed border wall.
Well, unfortunately, the president just got up and walked out. He asked Speaker Pelosi, "Will you agree to my wall?" She said no. And he just got up and said, "Then we have nothing to discuss," and he just walked out.
He thinks maybe they could just ask their father for more money, but they can't. But they can't, and we think that the collateral damage that he is causing well, I'm going to yield to the leader to talk about that, but I would say this. If you don't understand financial insecurity, then you would have a policy that takes pride in saying, I'm going to keep government shut down for months or years, unless you totally agree to my position.
Speaker Nancy Pelosi and her fellow Democrats who took control of the chamber last week plan to advance a bill to immediately reopen the Federal Finance Ministry, the Securities and Exchange Commission, and other agencies that have been partially shut down since the 22nd of December. Trump says that he will not shy away from declaring a national emergency to press his case.
We talked about, a couple talked about strategy, but they're with us all the way. They're with us.
Mr. President, what about the idea of...
I mean, I just want, because, you know, the fake gives the fake news, and I just want to tell you that the Republicans are totally unified. Now, if you would ask the same question to the Democrats, you let me know in some of those districts where I won or that are a little bit more towards sanity. You want them to run, say we don't want to have border security? You got plenty of Democrats that do not want to be in this battle. You have a lot of Democrats. The Republicans are unified. We want border security. We want safety for our country.
Close to 12 hours later, Donald Trump took to Twitter and took a dig at the Democratic leaders. He said, and I'm quoting, Chuck told his favorite lie when he used his standard soundbite that I slammed the table and I walked out of the room. He had a temper tantrum because I knew he would say that. And after Nancy said no to proper border security, I politely said bye-bye and left. No slamming is what the president said. Meanwhile, Democratic Party's lawmakers from California delivered a large can of trash to the White House. It was done in an attempt to raise awareness about the trash that continued to pile up in national parks due to that government shutdown. They carried trash cans with the phrase "Trump trash" written on them. They said that they did the work of clearing trash from the parks that was supposed to be done by U.S. government employees.
What we need is for President Trump to wake up and smell the coffee cups and the diapers and the burrito wrappers and the trash that is piling up. And soon we'll have enough of it to build a wall, perhaps, but it's a real problem.
And it's not just the 800,000 federal employees that have been hit by the U.S. shutdown. The shutdown is also affecting other Americans, and it can now hit millions if it does not end soon. Case in point, 36-year-old Bill and Teresa Streifler. They are living in New Jersey. Teresa is 9 months pregnant and is expecting the baby any time. Her husband, Bill, is an air traffic controller at Newark Liberty International Airport. He's being forced to work without pay and is struggling to provide for his pregnant wife. Even the process required for them to apply for insurance is taking longer than expected because of the shutdown.
I'm 9 months pregnant, so literally due any day now, and I just went on maternity leave, so I'm trying to get disability, and we don't know when that's going to come through. So between the two of us, neither of us are getting paid right now.
If the shutdown continues, they cannot take their minds off the uncertainty over their future.
Not a situation that I hope that anybody, has to ever go through. I'm working every day, so I would expect that I'm going to get paid, not have to worry about how I'm going to pay my mortgage this month, and how I'm going to, afford to, take care of the baby and my wife.